Native News Today.
All right, everyone, if you're sitting out there at home, this is not your normal Saturday. This is history. Welcome to the 100th episode of Native News Today. We've come a long way in the past 2.5 years, and we're so glad to be sitting here for the 100th consecutive week. We're glad that you're able to join us again, and I believe we have a special guest to bring on, and I need to do a little bit of a trip down memory lane right now. Let's bring on the special guest. Pop him up in the window there. How you doing there, Mr. G. Woff?
Oh, hey, how are you doing out there? Hope you're all good and fine. Hey, the reason I'm here, and I appreciate the time here, we want to congratulate Native News Today, right?
Absolutely, man.
100th anniversary of this show.
Hey, congratulate yourself. I mean, you're the leadoff hitter, man. You set the table. You were there with me through, my goodness, what probably at least 65 of these things? I don't know. I mean, I lost count.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, somewhere in the 60s there. You know, of course, a lot of people remember the 60s, and then they forget after that. But,
well,
yeah,
I don't
it was around
remember
that
the
episode.
60s, Gerald. What are you trying to say?
Oh, yeah, you weren't born yet then, but
yeah, come
60s
on.
were a good time. But anyway, yes, congratulations, Native News Today. Jason, who would have thought, 2 years ago, here we were, and all of a sudden, here we are 2 years later. Who would have thought a show like this would succeed?
I wouldn't have, especially after that first episode. Wow, we were a couple of wet behind the ears pups. And let's just take a look back at that first episode right now and laugh at ourselves a bit.
Good morning, I'm Gerald Wofford.
And I'm Jason Salzman.
And we want to welcome you to the first edition of the Muskogee Nation News Monthly, a program about the Muskogee Creek Nation for the Muskogee Creek Nation. We hope to bring you stories about the tribe and its people. Many people have heard of the tribe, but few really know the tribe. It is the hope of this broadcast that people, not just citizens of the tribe, come to know the Muskogee Creek Nation and its people, but they come to know and to realize that a successful, functional, and thriving government exists and is much more than tribally owned casinos.
With that being said, let's get right into our tribal news that has been going on around the complex. On January 7th, our National Council entered into its 14th session with new members being sworn in at the Mound Complex. Our own Gerald Wofford was there reporting this story.
Saturday, January 7th, proved to be a historic day for the Muskogee Creek Nation National Council. The 14th session of the National Council were officially sworn in amidst a grand ceremony that included traditional tribal leaders. Montezuma Baptist Church added to the event by sharing Muskogee hymns. The 26 members that comprise the council are represented by district representatives from the Creek Nation boundaries that include 9 Oklahoma counties in northeastern Oklahoma. While many incumbents continue their council service, many newcomers, such as Tulsa District Representative Samuel Alexander, look forward to serving the tribe.
It's very easy to communicate and to get things done when you have the education that I see on the National Council. I think the next 2 years, we have a lot of issues in front of us, obviously. We have a lot of state of Oklahoma issues. We have a lot of, in my estimation, medical needs that need to be looked at seriously. A lot of things like that, and you make really good headway when you have this kind of talent. You sit down at the table and you see this kind of talent sitting around. So I'm very encouraged about it, Gerald.
The Muskogee Creek National Council meets the last Saturday of every month in the Mound Auditorium at the Capitol Complex in Okmulgee.
Very good job on that story, Gerald. What was it like being there at the Mount Auditorium, seeing these new members sworn into this high office?
Well, Jason, as we know, it was the 14th session of the Muskogee Creek Nation National Council. They were sworn in, a very historical event. And for the next 2 years, we get to see new policies put in place and see how the tribe deals with the government statewide as well as nationally. Moving on to other news, with the recent depletion of rain and an increase of high winds in the Oklahoma forecast, conditions around the Sooner State have caused grass fires to destroy homes, property, and in many cases, lives. Josh Lane of the Creek Nation Communications Department has this report about the fire that affected a Creek family in Holdenville.
I said, I gotta go back down there and see how my house is. So we got fires to my neighbor's mailbox. And I looked toward where my house was, but you couldn't see anything. The smoke was so thick and black, you just couldn't see anything down there. And then I realized then that my house was gone anyway.
The fires have destroyed much, but even among this devastation, there is hope. The Muskogee Nation has given money to the families to help them get through this trying time. They've also donated money to the Holdenville Fire Department to cover cost of new equipment and to help to keep the fires in check in the future. And the Housing Division is providing alternate homes for these families. All right, very touching story there. A lot of lives affected in Holdenville as well as around the state, and just a very touching story.
And we want to mention that the photos in that news segment are courtesy of Charlene Aid, serves on the Creek Nation National Council.
Thank you to Miss Aid for that. Let's take a quick break right now.
All right, keeping with the trend that we have set here in the past 99 episodes, not going to change anything here. Let's get right into our stories for this week. And Gerald, we got a chance to spotlight a great thing, the Relay for Life event. That's really something special.
That's right, Relaying for Life, always going, best foot forward, and keeping it going.
Absolutely.
It's Relay for Life. It is a 12-hour event beginning at 7 p.m. and going to 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So everybody's been setting up this afternoon. We're getting ready for the Survivor Dinner at 6 tonight. And then we'll have the Luminaria ceremony at 10 p.m. tonight, and that's in remembrance of those we've lost to cancer. We are expecting 250 to 300 individuals to come to the event tonight. We have everywhere from 20 teams, and we usually have 15 people per team. So usually we'll have about 300 people out here tonight. We have the 20 teams and 15 people per team, and we ask that each individual try to raise a minimum of $100, and they can ask people for donations for sponsorship since they'll be walking for 12 hours. We have a couple individuals that personally raised $1,000 each, and then we have a team that raised over $7,000. All of us relay for our own reasons, but I lost my grandfather when I was a young girl, and there's been several other friends and family that have been affected by this disease, and it's my way to fight back. Our theme this year is to celebrate, remember, and fight back, and we celebrate with our Survivor Lap, we remember with our Luminarias, and we're going to fight back this year by raising money, and our goal this year is $30,000, so we're looking good.
My name's Jennifer Zachary. I am the nurse with the Women's Health Clinic at the Okmulgee Indian Health Center, and I'm the LPN there. The Relay for Life is a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society, and the clinic, how we started doing this is Catherine Reamer, one of our nurse practitioners, has had a brother who's passed away from cancer, so she really kicked this off a few years ago, and we just continued that. And so we've had a team for about the last 5 or 6 years, and each year we raise money and come out and have a good time.
How much money did you guys raise this year?
This year we raised $3,400, and we're just real proud. And everyone at the clinic has really helped. They've eaten every time and bought food every time we've sold it, which is wonderful. And really our sales from a chili dinner to a hamburger cookout to Indian tacos to breakfast in the morning, and our clinic has really supported us.
Is there anybody you'd like to say thank you to personally while you're...
Well, yes, I'd like to thank our administrator, Miss Deborah Isham. She supports anytime that anyone in the clinic wants to do anything to help support or educate the community as well as our patients. She supports us 110%. From our Pink Party for breast cancer awareness to us doing the Relay for Life, to the Red Dress campaign for the American Heart Association. She stands behind us and lets us go out and do these events.
Now, for anybody out there that's interested in donating some money or getting involved in the Relay for Life or any of your other programs, how can they get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with either myself or with Christy Fixco at the Okmulgee Indian Clinic, and the number is 758-2717, and they can just give us a call, and if they want to have their own team next year, we'll get them hooked up with Marcy so they can have their own team next year, or if they are a survivor or know a survivor who would like to be involved in this event, just give us a call and we'll get them hooked up with the right people.
Great. All right.
We have a support group, a cancer support group, and it's sponsored by the Okmulgee Indian community, and we meet the first Monday night of each month. And we have members that, men, women too, but from all types of cancer. And since my husband died of leukemia, and I've had cancer, and right now my sister has cancer, I've walked the walk and been a patient, and so it helps me to help them. If you're interested in contacting the support group, call me at 759-8553 and also at 758-0970, and that's our OIC number, the office number.
All right, back here on Native News Today. Jason, May 3rd was a special day for the Creek Nation Tribal College. They had their ceremonial graduation right here at the Creek Nation Auditorium.
Sure, Gerald, and for the past 2+ years, just like Native News Today, the College of Muskogee Nation has been a relatively new formulated college there. So this was their chance for their first commencement exercise, and they were very, very proud to have it there in the Mound Building. And what a great day it was to be there on Saturday, May 3rd, for the College of the Muskogee Nation spring commencement.
At this time, I'd like to do the welcome and some introductions. On behalf of the College of the Muskogee Nation, their faculty and staff, and especially the candidates for graduation, I want to thank each of you for joining us this morning to help us recognize the achievements of our graduates. Today's ceremony marks a significant event for our graduates and our college. This is the first graduation exercise for the College of the Muskogee Nation. You can applause, you can give a round of applause if you want to. All right. I am most honored to present Chief of Staff Mike Flood for his graduation remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Koser. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here on behalf of Chief Ellis. He'd had a prior commitment long before the announcement for the graduation here, and he'd asked if I'd stand in for him, and I'm happy to do so. This college is very, very important to me, and as Pete mentioned, in 1980, Chief Claude Cox had nominated me for the Supreme Court, and it's a 6-year term, and I'd served 4 terms, and former Chief Fife had nominated me also, and I was up for reappointment, and Chief Ellis called me in and asked would I consider taking over the education department. I had retired at the time, and I said yes, I would do. And the first day on the job, June the 1st of 2004, the very first thing in his office, he says, I want to start a college. And I said, okay. And to be very honest with you folks, I'm not the sharpest person in the world, but I knew how to put some people together, and so we did. We put together Dr. King, Judge Pat Moore, Councilman Keeper Johnson, President of our college, Dr. Bob Klobenish of OSU Okmulgee, our Attorney General at that time, who was a former district judge in Kansas, and the head of the National Indian Gaming Commission, Monty Deere. We had Fred Harlan, who owns Harlan Motors Ford, but he was on the Board of Regents of OSU Stillwater. And we had Mr. Dan Keating. Dan Keating was the twin brother of the former Governor Frank Keating, and he was appointed by President Bush as one on the advisory committee of Native American colleges and universities. So we put together one heck of a working group, advisory group. We had no money. Chief Ellis had let us have $2,500 out of his consulting budget. That's all we had, and we hired Dr. King. And with that, we put together a plan, and the first thing was we had to have some money to try to get started. So we put together a budget for $25,000. We did not know if it would go through. And was working with this group, and Dr. King was taking us through the steps. And to be very honest, I had a great group of people down at Human Development, so I got to spend about 80 to 90% of my time with Dr. King in the working group trying to put this college together. Anyway, to make a long story short, I need to mention one council person. Her name was Sue Johnson. I had not met Sue, and she met us right out here, Judge Moore, right out in front of your chambers one day, and she had some questions about starting this college, and we were going for $25,000. Dr. King and I had talked and said if we can't get the $25,000, or if it's close, and there's 26 members on our council, that if it comes down to 15 to 10 or 16 to 9 or 14 to 11, this thing's not going to fly. Ms. Johnson had a lot of questions for me, and like I say, I just met her. We spent about 30 minutes, and she said, this is going to cost the Creek Nation money. I said, yes, ma'am, it always will. It's not about making money, it's about educating our youth. We spent about 30 minutes, and I told Dr. King, this is not going to go through. I think we're going to have some trouble. And when it came before a national council, Sue Johnson made the motion to adopt and was our biggest supporter. And I just wanted to give Sue that, but it's just about explaining what we were trying to do. And folks, if it was not for cooperation between all branches of our government, none of this would ever be possible. Now, I personally want to thank our National Council. Some members are still here, the members that's on it, the new members, is that we've never had anything come before a National Council involving our college that was not approved by 100% unanimous vote. And I think they need to have a round of applause.
National Council Speaker Thomas Yahola for his graduation remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Kozer. Good morning, graduates. Good morning, citizens. It's an honor to be here, be part of this program. I'd like to recognize another individual. To just take a second of your time, and at this time I'd like to introduce to you former Speaker George Tigerfield. Stand and be recognized. He's been supportive of the college in the past. I want to make my remarks in two parts, one being the leadership of the college and then to the graduates. Firstly, we in the National Council feel as though we're the building blocks in the foundation of this college. Serving on the National Council and on the Human Development Committee, we will continue to be of service to the nation and to the college in providing higher education for our students. Also, I'd like to, as for myself, I've had the opportunity to recommend one of the regents to this. I supported her. Also had another regent I supported by legislation, Dr. Blue, and the support of the others that are seated on the regents. So I feel very proud of that and continue success through them. And also, I have very high regards for Dr. King for his leadership, and combined the National Council, the executive branch, and the College of Muskogee Nation have brought us to where we're at today. The first graduation ceremony was certainly not the last. Second, to the graduates, I'll use the word extended family because there are grandparents, children, and others who have supported those. And this is your day. I want you to treasure it and to remember it. And through your tireless efforts, I know that you've had difficulties, but still yet, you've accomplished a major achievement in your life. And whatever sacrifices that you made, your extended family has made, it has been well worth it. And today, as you've reached this plateau of graduation, it's just the first step in obtaining other endeavors. With higher education work experiences, life experiences. It is my hope with these experiences that you make the nation proud of your future endeavors, whatever they might be. And in the future, with your work experiences, that you can take the place upon this podium with these elected officials or those seated in the audience or officials of the college to make this a better Muskogee Nation. Mano.
It is my privilege to present to you our first College of the Muskogee Nation commencement speaker, President Cheryl Crazybull.
Ampetu Washte. My Lakota name is Wachiampiwi. I want to recognize my grandparents who gave me that name when I was a young woman. It means that they depend on her. Pete didn't do too bad introducing me. It's a Shichangu. But I said I wouldn't make fun of that too much because I didn't know what the little V stood for in your language, and it was very confusing to me when I drove up. It's an honor for me, graduates, to be here with you. It's very easy for me to come and share thoughts with you because as I have spent my whole life working to ensure that people like yourselves and ourselves have this opportunity for an education. I always tell people that I don't have to struggle with speaking because I'm telling a true story, and that true story is very easy to have come from my heart. So I congratulate you and your families, and I thank you for the hard work that you have done and for the sacrifices that you and your families made so that you could go to college. I also want to recognize and acknowledge your nation for inviting me here. I am very proud to have been born a Native woman, and it is an honor to be able to be with people here whose leadership has been looked upon by Indian country for many, many years as one of the best models for how to survive really terrible hardships that we have survived as Indigenous peoples. So I thank you for that hard work and for inviting me here today. I spent my whole life working and living on the reservation, and I like to tell students, you know, someday it will be one of you here. One of you will be the president of a college. One of you will have the opportunity to serve your people. I want to thank you also for inviting me to share this special day with you because this is the 40th anniversary year of the Tribal College movement. I want to acknowledge our grandmother institution. Thank you. You have moved yourselves as graduates. You have moved your loved ones. You have moved your whole community forward as a graduate. You can help by taking what you have learned and bringing that out into your family and into your community. Some of you will be at the front lines of this war in your life, and I pray that you will have the strength to make good decisions, to lead a good life in that. Some of you will just do your best in your daily life with whatever it is that life brings you. I try to live my life intentionally. The religious practice that I have grown up with, the traditional way, and my Christian practice both have taught me that self-discipline is the way to lead a good life. To pay attention to my actions, to pay attention to my relationships, to be intentional in my prayers. So each of you in your own way will move us out of that line of fire of all those weapons that are held by the hands of our enemies. So today in Indian country, you know, throughout the tribal colleges, today we are very proud of you. The world is looking at you. The world is looking at you. Our ancestors are looking at you. They feel good. They feel proud. We feel proud. We love you. We love you and we want you to have a good life. We pray for you to have the best for yourselves and for your families. We look forward to what you have to give us as the first graduating class of the College of the Muskogee Nation. Thank you.
For attending such a unique graduating ceremony today. In the early spring of 1994, Principal Chief Bill S. Fife unveiled a comprehensive strategic plan to the National Council. The title of this strategic plan was A Shared Vision. Part of the plan was the identification for the need of a tribal college. In late 2004, the National Council passed legislation, which was later signed by Principal Chief A.D. Ellis, enabling this nation to create and start the College of the Muskogee Nation. On behalf of the graduating class of 2006, I thank both Principal Chief Fife and Principal Chief Ellis for their efforts.
Graduates, please move your tassel from the right to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2006, 2007, 2008, the first graduating class for the College of the Muskogee Nation.
Well, that's gonna. Hey,
sorry,
we're cutting my toes off here.
Sorry, man. My bad.
That's gonna wrap us up for this 100th episode. Look at this. This guy comes back in a spot start, and he wants to jump all over my toes. What's with you?
Sorry, man. Didn't mean to jump on you there.
Sorry. You go ahead. No, I want to hear what you got to say.
Well, I was just going to say, the old Carol Burnett show.
That's right.
There, the 60s and 70s.
Something else I don't remember.
I'm so glad we had this time together, man. And so, that's what it was with Native News Today. So glad we had this time together.
Yes. It was a great time here on the 100th episode. We always have fun here on the Native News Today crew, and we're so happy to have GWAF with us, and he's here with us all the time. You guys may not know this, but we still got the crew together. So we behind the scenes work. We always have everything going just the way we always did. So right here on Native News Today, we want to say thank you for tuning into the 100th episode, and we want to say thank you in advance for staying with us in the coming weeks. We're just going to keep it right where we have it. We're going to keep everything just the same. So don't you go anywhere. For everybody here at Native News Today, all the good people, production staff, Jared Moore, Joshua Slane, Gerald Wofford, this is Jason Salzman saying we'll see y'all next week.